Santa, tell me when you'll show yourself to me. Help me find who my baby will be. Santa, tell me when you'll show yourself.
Hi there, I'm done with 4 out of the 8 test pieces design that I had to make. Let me just show you guys. This one here is Mush by Lady Barbara. In all my previous shop updates, I am mostly very excited about Minnie right here, but for this one, I think I'm a little more excited about Lady Barbara. I've never really added so many elements to a desk friend, so this one was a little bit of an experiment, but I must say I'm pretty happy with how the final one turned out. I really love the waffle and biscuit. By the way, these are made from the molds, so it was pretty easy to put together. I'm just glad I invested in this mold because this made my work very easy. However, I do not have any mold for the kettle, so I'm trying to sculpt it a little. The tea kettle here is not very well sculpted. Like you can see, it looks a little imperfect. I'll practice more and turn it better. But this one, I think I'll make one change. I'm happy with everything else. It's just that I think I'm going to go with a white kettle instead of a brown one because it'll add a bit of more color to it and make it more vibrant than everything just being a shade of brown. It blends in if everything is in the same color. So I think yes, I'll be switching the color of this to a white one. I kind of sculpted a white version for the keychain version of Lady Barbara and I really liked it. So I was like, why not just make the desk friend kettle also white in color? That will go well with the design. The one that I'm most excited about is this. Look at her. She looks so cute and dumb. I don't know. So yeah, this is a new thing for me because I usually make a similar sort of a version of keychain for Lady Barbara. This time I was sculpting the Minnie and I was like, she looks kind of cute and Minnie is a bestseller. So I thought, why not try a similar sort of a shape for Lady Barbara too? And I just sculpted and I was like, I'll put something on top of her head and yeah, they look so nice. I went with a biscuit and there's an apple on top of the biscuit as well as a waffle on its side with a teacup. See, this white one goes so well with brown. But that's when I sculpted the white teacup, I realized that the white teacup kind of looks much better than the brown one. So I thought that I'm gonna do the same for the desk friend version too. And as I've already mentioned, the waffle and biscuit that you see here are made from the clay molds because I could never make this by hand. Even if I could, it would take such a long time. So I'm pretty happy with this one. Usually my favorite is always a Minnie or Snuggles now, but this time I think it's going to be Miss Lady Barbara keychain right here. Again, I can't get over it. She looks so cute and dumb. I don't know. I even posted a story about it. I was way too excited with a cringe-filled voice, but when I sculpted this, I just kept staring at her like for a minute or so. It might not be that good for you guys, but I don't know, for some reason I just find it too cute. So I'm just sitting here admiring my own work. Weird, but let's start working on the next four designs.
Trusting your instincts, realize that knowing looks different to each. When living authentic, do more exploring. It's deeper than knowing just what is essential for life that is thriving. Go deep, mute out the chatter, feel it, burn off the fire, let go until there's peace to your core. Live a life you adore. Silence the noise, away from the program, removing performance, true self all that's standing. Live free from worry, live by just being. Power in finding your wholeness
best friend for Minnie, where this time I've decided to add a tiny little base along with the body of the clay charm, because I wanted to add some similar elements that are related to the profession of my Snugglets on the base as well, so that they look a little bigger and fuller, and it would make sense for the people who buy them too, because a lot of people are also interested in the story of Whimsyville or the characters and their life. So I thought it will be a good way of sending off a tiny slice of Whimsyville to everyone in the form of a best friend instead of just the clay charm itself. That's one reason why I thought of adding this base along with a few elements related to the Snuglet. This one is for Mush by Minnie, and now there'll be a few changes obviously. Unfortunately, silly me, remember I made a very soft white batch of clay, so what happened is this one ended up slouching a lot, if you can see. So this wasn't by design, this was a mistake on my part because of the clay being too sticky and soft. It settled down basically, so it wasn't like this, it was a bit taller and thinner. It just looks like it melted. So far I think the other elements will remain the same for the final design. And now here's our tiny little Mush by Minnie keychain. These are the test pieces, so please ignore the weird, see, the imperfection. I was so excited to finish this off, I didn't even take care of this. I just wanted to sculpt out the designs and see how they actually look. As mentioned, no major changes for any of these other than thinking about a different shape as well as changing the color of the stick up right here. Everything else seems perfectly fine for me. I might reduce the size of the keychain for Minnie slightly because it's a bit too huge, and I like my keychains to be a little smaller because people usually carry them around and I don't want any accidents happening. That's why, yeah, that's the only change I can think of. Rest all seems perfect to me. So cute. Let's start working on the next designs.
To sound, the one that's coming from your mouth. Don't mean to turn it upside down, I really wanna hear you out. I can't know how it is to be where you so calmly sit. When I'm further my own, there it is, catching only part of it. To just be, to really see something other than just me. To lean in, look around, open up to the sound. If I could give you more than half an ear, if I could give you more than half an ear. Hit the brakes, throw stones into a quiet lake. What is it you're really saying? I turn the thoughts to little waves, space on either side of every single word I write. I found you in another line. Notice all the time it takes to just be, to really see something other than just me. To lean in, look around, open up But you kept every word you said, and you stayed true to me. We lean into the great beyond. There's more love yet to make. 'Cause some things last forever, but love it never fades. He left her slowly as his mind lost more every day. Quietly she walked beside and tended in her way. Now the bed he built for two is cold, but her memories have stayed. Because some things last forever, but love it never fades. Dishes and tears, I'm standing here. I know it sounds cliche. A blanket of this history covers me today. In between the bliss and underneath the ache, in the tenderness, a single thread remains. It's deeper than a sentiment. It's a fierce and holy rage. Some things last forever, but love it never fades.
First time I sat down with this flask here, right now I just forgot that I hadn't closed this lid, and I started shaking it and it spilled everywhere. Cleaned it up, and then I sat down and started recording. Recorded for about 30 minutes, and that's when I looked down and realized that I hadn't switched on my mic. Yeah, it's switched on now. I'm getting traumatized. Now I don't have a desire to shoot a video. However, we're gonna push aside these negative emotions because we have a lot to do. And we're very excited because we are very happy with the new sculptings or test pieces that we've come up with. So by this time I was kind of supposed to be done with sculpting of all the final pieces and prepared stock for the next shop update. But I'm only done with the test pieces. So I'm just gonna stick to 3 character changes this time, because 3 characters means it's already 6 new designs, as I'll be making the keychain as well as the desk designs for each character. So we're gonna stick with this. What was I saying? I have brain fog. Never mind. I'll just start showing you guys the final pieces. These are the test pieces. If you guys remember, I'd already shown you guys Lady Barbara. However, I made a tiny little change to it. If you can see, as I had already mentioned, I changed the color of the kettle. Reason being, when I was sculpting the keychain for our tiny little, I hope it's focusing, yeah. When I was sculpting the keychain for Lady Barbara, I went with the white kettle, and I kind of really liked how this one looks with the waffle and how the color pops around the brown. So I decided to change this one to white too. I was already happy with the shape and size of this one. As it dried up, it kind of took a good shape. No more changes, so this will be our final design for Lady Barbara. You guys might have seen this one before, like this is the first mini design that I made. It looks good, it's nice. I went with the yellow and orangey base because obviously mini kind of has this yellow theme going on, but for some reason it doesn't look, maybe it looks good on the camera, I don't know, but in real life it just looks way too dull. Kind of blends with the croissant as well as the mushrooms and Minnie herself. So I thought maybe we can make a little bit more difference by changing the base to green. This kind of made me fall in love with it. I know a lot of people might still like the yellow one, but personally I do love the green because it just makes the color of the croissant, Minnie as well as the mushrooms pop out, which is what I want this time. Because when I was designing this theme, I kind of wanted to have a tiny little base which will give it a feeling like these restaurants are sitting on the whimsy land with some sort of items next to them along with some mushrooms. These obviously mush pie themes, so I wanted it to have the exact, I had this exact vision in mind. So when I went with the green one, it kind of clicked. Even if some people don't like it, I do really love it. I'm just gonna go with green for this one. I've always had this attachment towards pastel and light colors or dull colors, but for some reason whenever I'm making my clay charms, I do like them to be a bit more vibrant and with bunch more colors instead of being very minimalistic, because I know they just look cute when I'm done sculpting as well as glazing them. They just look so glossy, shiny, vibrant little pockets of joy sitting right on the desk. So the kind of looks good. So if I make them a bit dull or pastely, I think they just blend with the surrounding, and that's why I don't like it. Hence the choice of color. Yeah. Also, I really am happy with how the pie turned out. This one took a lot of time because I hand sculpted this. The pie is not from any mold. I really wanted to have this exact look. I saw this cute little YouTube video where the person was sculpting a pie and how they added the texture to it, and I wanted to do it, and it actually turned out very good. The first pie that I made, we can actually see both of them. Like, you can see the difference. The first pie is something that I'm not very happy with, and it was made in rush because I was just figuring it out because I had never made a proper pie before this. But this one kind of turned out very good. I made it a little bit more flatter because obviously it's already there on top of her body, so I don't want it to be very round or very big. I added a tiny little mint leaf sort of a thing. So we're gonna stick with this one. You guys have already seen a Minnie's keychain. The only difference this time is it's a pie instead of a bun, and on top of its head there's some whipped cream as well as apple instead of whipped cream and strawberry. My eyes hurt. I forgot to wear my specs. The overall look is completely same, and I personally didn't want it to change because I have a little bit of a soft corner for a Minnie. I kind of do love Snuggles Snout a lot because that's the first Snuglet of Whimsy, so obviously I like that more. This was my very first clay charm. The first time I made my proper clay batch and the first time I sculpted something was this tiny little bub here. So this will always be very close to my heart. However, if you ask for my personal preference, I do have a soft corner for Minnie. Maybe it's because of my love for breads and anything that is made from bread. That's one reason, and the second is because Minnie has always been kind of the favorite in most of the shop updates other than the one where Snuggle Snout was. So yeah, I decided to keep the overall look very similar. Nice little moosh pie Minnie. Now for the final one, that is Coco. I was horrified while sculpting this because everything turned out wrong. I don't know why I went with a dark base. I don't know why it became even more darker when it dried. I have no clue what went wrong with the shape of my Coco. It just flattened out. Everything was going wrong. Okay, it's cute and nice and all, but I had a vision and it wasn't looking the way I wanted it to. So today is a bad day. I have been on the verge of dropping 2 of my clay charms. So yeah, it just doesn't look good. Everything felt... That's the second time that there's something wrong with the shape and size of everything on this tiny little base here. So kind of decided to change it slightly, and this is what I did next. I am very happy with how this one turned out. I added an additional chocolate bar here because obviously Coco is a chocolatier, so she needs to have a bunch of chocolates around her. Rest everything is same. I just tried and made the base a lot more lighter because I don't like how dark this one turned out. Although this kind of mixes with Coco already because Coco is green, but because of the green base, the other items like the chocolate as well as the mushrooms, they are all just popping out, which I wanted to happen, which also happened with Minnie. So I kind of like how it looks. There's only one change that I'll make is the Dango style candy stick. I will make the chocolate that's there on those tiny little caramel balls a bit more darker because I forgot to add the dark brown shade while I was mixing it with the Fevicol, so it turned out a bit more caramel looking than chocolate dips, and I want chocolate on top instead of caramel one. The final one is the keychain for Coco. That's also holding the same candy like the caramel and the apple along with the tiny little mushroom. In the design that I had illustrated, I had thought of adding this mushroom on top of their heads for the desk friend as well as for the keychain, but when I was sculpting, I put the mushroom on top of their head and they kind of looked not good, like weird. So I just decided to make them hold it. Here's our tiny little Coco holding a mushroom and a candy stick on her belly with apple on top. So that's all the clay charm designs that we have to stock up on. I hope you all enjoyed the vlog. See you guys in the next one. Until then, stay cozy. Bye for now.
And when I'm out, I'm looking for that